Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Out Cosmic podcast. My name is Christine Nowinski, ET, contactee, and channel. This podcast is for those who are exploring the strange and esoteric, who are exploring aliens, Bigfoot, mermaids. Nothing is off topic with Coming Out Cosmic because I work to normalize the esoteric and strange. I would say my primary focus would be aliens, however, because that's who I channel. I channel extraterrestrials, but I also channel other forms of higher dimensional consciousness that wouldn't be extraterrestrial, such as Mother Gaia. If you're interested in hearing me channel Mother Gaia, that is one of my previous podcast episodes. I'm laughing because Maya just did a really, really long exhale, and I don't know if you can hear that on the podcast. By the way, I had to sneak onto this podcast really quickly because Brody's still sleeping. Maya is on my lap, so I'm going to do the best I can in this episode. I didn't really have a plan of what would come through during this episode. I wanted to give you guys more of an update rather than anything else because I know that it's been a while since I last uploaded, and I love doing the Coming Out Cosmic podcast. So here I am. I want to give you a bit of an update on channeling, the channeling process, things that are going on within Coming Out Cosmic, and some things that are going on within my life. And on my next podcast episode, I want to invite back my friend Rosanna to talk more in depth about some of my one-on-one sessions because I have a lot of funny stories from my one-on-one sessions that I think would just give some light to your day. And of course, anytime I share information about a one-on-one session, I have a client sign off and say that it's okay to do so. And identities are always protected, but there's so many different juicy insights and funny insights that I'd love to share with you guys. But I'm going to wait until I have another person who can converse with me on that one because I know Rosanna's got really good questions, and that's what we'll do on the next podcast episode. But again, for today, I'm going to give you more of an update on channeling. So I've been actively channeling since the beginning. I think it's been the beginning of February, and I've been channeling every single week. I wouldn't say every single day because when I do channel for clients, it does drain me a lot. But I'd say it's close to every single day. I probably channel about 5 times a week for an extended period of time. So for over an hour. And for those of you who don't know, channeling, just like any psychic ability, is a muscle. It needs to be grown. It needs to be practiced. It needs to be sustained. So now that I'm channeling more and more, I'm finding that my endurance during channeling is getting better, which means that I am not needing to come out of trance to drink water as often as I did before. It also means that when I come out of channeling, I am not as tired. I have more energy, although I will say that my vice is I like to have a glass of wine after I do a long channeling session for a one-on-one client. I actually talked to my mentor about this to see what that's all about. Like, why am I attracted to wine after I channel? And she said that it's just a way that I try to maintain my energy. And it's not the best way, but it is a way for me to get more grounded. You know, because when I'm channeling very high frequency beings, and a beverage such as alcohol is more low frequency. And so I think that for me personally, it helps to balance out my frequency so that I'm not in such a high state when I get out of channeling. Because when I leave channeling, when I get out of a session, I feel high. Yeah, Maya, I don't know if you guys can hear her, but I feel like I'm floating on a sky. I have to work to ground myself. So an instantaneous vice that actually works for me would be drinking wine. But what would actually be better, if you are taking any sort of advice from this podcast and you are trying to channel yourself, it would be better to just go outside and ground yourself and sit next to a tree. I've done that before. It works as well. It's not as satisfying as a glass of wine, especially because I just had 2 babies and finally I can drink wine again. So I think there's a little bit of that's involved. So channeling has been going really well. And actually, now that I think about it, I think it'd be really helpful if I started to explain more of my channeling process and how it actually works in case you are looking to become a channel yourself. Because I've said this before and I'll say it again, everybody has this channeling ability. It just needs to be activated and practiced. And my channeling ability was activated when I started working with my mentor, Rebecca Videnoff. I believe that each human being holds different types of light codes, maybe different energetic keys that allow for the unlocking of different psychic abilities within certain people. Our energy can greatly influence the energy of someone else. And I think at times it can literally unlock something within somebody's DNA. So when I started working with Rebecca and I started channeling, I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is real. Like, this is so cool that we can unlock these abilities within oneself. So I'll take you back to when I first started channeling very briefly, because I know I already have it on the podcast. But when I first started channeling, I was sitting here with Maya on my lap, and I just felt the need to say something other than what I was already talking about. I felt the need that there was something else that needed to be said through me, but in a meditative state. So I just went along with it. I went with the flow. I was like, okay, I feel like I need to go into a meditation, and I feel like I just need to allow myself to speak and to allow whatever message to come through, because I'm no stranger to receiving different types of insights and messages. I mean, I've been reading tarot since I was 19. So I'm used to this feeling of needing to say something, needing to speak about a certain insight. But I'd say that would be the main difference between reading tarot and actually voice channeling is I would speak about and interpret within my own words the different insights and wisdom that was coming up from the tarot reading, rather than actually allowing for those insights and wisdoms to flow through me, through my voice from ETs. So the first time I did this, I sat and just allowed for the different message to flow through me. And I will say that I knew that it was something that was channeled, because after I channeled the information, I thought to myself, well, where did that come from? I did not have any sort of knowledge beforehand that I was going to talk about a certain concept. And I think that's part of the scary part of channeling. To be honest, as somebody who has always been a bit of a perfectionist and is really good at conversing with other people and meeting them where they are in any and all conversations, because I can read people very well, it is pretty scary to not know what you're about to say. I apologize. Maya is so loud right now. So that's the part of channeling that you really need to trust. You really just need to trust that whatever comes through is meant for you and is meant for the client. Okay, so Maya's... My God. You want to talk? Okay, say hi. She was just like, ah. She just discovered sticking her tongue out and spitting. It's been great, everyone. It's been great. She's about to try to eat the microphone. Maya wants to share some light codes with you all through her own voice. That is what is happening right now. So anyway, with the beginning of channeling, it very much was this feeling of, oh, I need to say something. I'm going to go into a meditation and I'm going to speak and allow for whatever to come through. From then on, it is something that needs to be practiced and developed. When I started tapping into channeling, I would call my best friends and I'd say, hey, do you want me to practice channeling a message for you? Before I started taking one-on-one clients. And the channelings before, of course, were a little bit rocky as I was trying to understand what I was even doing, but it started coming through more and more clear. So this is just with any psychic ability. It's like when you first start trying to practice reading tarot intuitively, you really need to trust your own intuition and you need to start feeling into your heart center, allowing for the messages to flow through. I don't know if this is going to work with Maya like this. I'm going to go put her down. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I put Maya down with her bottle. Going back to the beginning of when I would start channeling, it was very important to just practice with people who would understand. A channeler can sit and try to channel messages themselves. Like I would do that a lot in the beginning, and that's always super interesting because I met a lot of different ETs and a lot of different collectives. But I think you start trusting your channeling abilities the more you work with other people, because unfortunately, when it comes to human beings and how our brains are wired, external validation is very much within our programmed reality. And so many of us seek external validation as validation that we're doing a good job. And I will say that it does actually help to hear somebody say, oh my gosh, this is resonating, because the brain goes back and uses that memory as fuel to continue improving on your own channeling ability. I did a little bit of studying on neuroscience back in the day. And so of course I don't know the full extent of this concept, but there is a concept about how in order for somebody to really continuously improve on something, it does very much help for the brain to have a reminder of you succeeding already in that thing. So to have a marker memory of, oh, this person was telling me that this is very validating, that actually helps you to continue on in your journey of improving whatever you're seeking to improve from a neuroscience perspective. The brain needs to have a sort of marker so that you feel like you want to continue improving. So it was really important for me to have certain marker moments, I would call them, of when my friends would say, oh, this is validating. Yes, this is making sense, because it gave me more courage and it gave me more confidence in my skill set. I started taking one-on-one clients pretty quickly from when I first discovered channeling, because when I first discovered it, I continued to grow my ability and I continued to build my confidence around it. So now with each one-on-one client, I have more and more confidence. And what I'm finding is the information is flowing much more quickly. I am leaving my body more than I used to. When I first started channeling, my consciousness was still hanging on my body. And I would say that I was still pretty much merged within my body, and the ET consciousness would come in. And so we would almost be fighting for space. Like, I didn't really know how to get my consciousness completely out of the body. But the reason why I was doing that was because I still wanted more control over the experience. But I have since then let go of control as much as I could. I still like to try to have control. I think most humans do. And so now I very much allow for the ET consciousness to come in and to integrate a little more deeply within my vessel. When this happens, it's so interesting, because when you finally do let go of control, you finally allow for your consciousness to sit outside of your body more and more and more, the messages come through more quick. They come through with more accuracy. I believe they come through with more flow. And so I'm at that point in my channeling where anybody can ask me a question during a one-on-one session and the answer will come almost instantaneously, unless the ETs really need to check into the energy of a situation, and unless the higher self really needs to step in and see what is allowed for the person to know. Because I will say that in one-on-one sessions, you will find out almost everything that you want to know. And it can literally be a question about anything. Past lives, galactic origin, why was I in a relationship with this person? What are my gifts? What was this ET experience that I had? But if your higher self doesn't want for you to receive the information through my channel, and let's say you're meant to receive the information in a different way, then the information will not come through my channel. The ETs will literally say, oh, like, you're not meant to know this information right now. That doesn't happen too often, but it has happened for clients who block themselves. I've had some clients who come immediately into a session and they tell me, I don't know if you're going to be able to read me because I'm just so blocked. And when somebody has that belief that they're already blocked, it's not very helpful. Because if you have a belief that you're blocked, then you're creating that within your reality. There's some facet of your reality. There's some facet within your energy field that is actually blocked. I talked to my mentor about this, and she was saying how most of the time when a client comes through complaining that they're blocked, it actually has a lot to do with inner child wounding of, they believe that they're blocked. They believe that there's an aspect of them that cannot be read, because deep down, deep, way down, they believe that they are not worthy unless they have a block. So this is to say that, I am so blocked, you cannot read me. I'm special because you cannot read me. There's something really cool going on with me because you cannot read me. I am blocked. So where that actually comes from, this whole mentality of I'm blocked, it actually comes down to the fact that a person's not feeling worthy enough within oneself to be unblocked. Because sometimes there can be a lot of ego that's involved when somebody believes that they're blocked. Again, when I was saying how, there's something so important about me that you cannot read me, I'm blocked. When somebody comes in with that mentality, because it's not always when somebody is blocked, they come in with that mentality. But when they do and their ego is involved, it's usually coming from a place of them feeling like they're not important unless they are blocked. And that is the block. That is the wounding. They have to start believing that they are important, and then they're not going to be blocked. But even if someone is quote unquote blocked, I'm still able to get insights. I'm still able to read them. It's just one of those little obstacles that needs to be addressed in the beginning of the session. We usually just take a deep breath, inhale, and set the intention to connect. And then it's easier for me to connect when they are open in that way. Working with one-on-one clients has been so fun, so validating. I have been finding many people who have been within past lives with me, many different people who have been in galactic renegade groups with me. And so one-on-one sessions have been so insightful. And I want to start posting more about them on social media, because I'm in such a weird place in my career. Like when I first started coming out cosmic, I was not channeling yet. I started coming out cosmic back at the end of 2024, started posting about my alien visitations on TikTok, blew up on TikTok, and then I started to channel in the beginning of 2026. And I was like, well, this is weird because I was not on Instagram yet. I was only posting on TikTok. So when I started coming on Instagram, that's when I started channeling. So it's interesting. I almost have two different audiences. It's like I have an audience on TikTok who knows me as the girl who talked all about the reptilians and my ET visitations. And then I started channeling and I started posting on Instagram, and I have that audience who's more above the, I would say the density of the reptilians talk, because when you talk about reptilians and visitations, it can have a certain density to it. And so I'd say that my audience on Instagram is a little bit more awake. It's been interesting trying to merge the two audiences though, because it's one thing to say online publicly that you've been visited by aliens. People can believe that to a certain extent, but it's another thing. It's a completely different thing when you start telling people that you now channel aliens, because people don't understand what channeling is. They don't know that we are all natural channels. They don't know that your intuition is what allows for you to do this. They don't know that we've got different DNA that can and will be activated the more and more we raise our frequency and vibration, the more and more we share with each other. It's been a weird, wild, wild west type of world for me to navigate. But of course, I'm so grateful that I get to do this and that I do reach the souls that I reach. Aside from one-on-one sessions, I did just launch my membership within my school community. So for people who are looking for a community of people who are also awakened, who have ET visitation stories, who are interested in all of the strange and esoteric, I have a free community on Skool where you can go in and post, and you can check some of my free videos on there. I do have some free channeling videos on there with Mother Gaia, with the Arcturians, with the Lyrans. I also tap into some celebrities like Josh Allen and Jim Carrey. Of course, I posted the Jim Carrey video when he was being viral because of the clone incident, which, by the way, it was confirmed that he was a clone in that video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, head over to my Skool community and check out my Jim Carrey clone video. I will say as well that that video was posted a couple of months ago, and I feel like the update on Jim Carrey has changed. So always take channeled material with a grain of salt. Always take it if it resonates, because things can change. Because when I channel into the current energy of the situation. So if you watch a video that's like older, it could have already changed. But anyway, if you want to see more of the different channelings that I do, head over to my Skool community. And I also have a premium membership on my Skool community where you get live activations and live events, at least 2 of them every single month. That is for $44 a month. You get one live channeling Q&A. I call it the Cosmic Channel. It is on the 2nd of the month always. The time of the event will change based on the day because I have a global audience. So I try to keep the time switching up so people can join live as often as they can. And then I have at least one live activation class every single month. And I bring up the activation class because during this podcast episode, I started off talking about how channeling was activated within me by my mentor. And I totally believe with 100% certainty that we do activate things within each other. So these activation classes are meant to activate something within you. They are classes that are either taught by me or by a trusted expert that I know. And the subjects vary. They're all over the place. This month, actually on Saturday, the 16th, it is May 2026, by the way. I don't know when you are listening to this podcast episode, but this Saturday, I have my friend Becca Laredo, who's going to be talking about her coming out cosmic story. She is a sound healer who has made multiple 6 figures with her sound healing business, which to me is unheard of. Like, you hear of people who are sound healers, but you hear of them putting on certain events, charging $30 a ticket. You don't actually really think or believe that it's possible to make hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this. But my friend Becca was able to do it. Now, of course, the first step in being able to make so much money with her spiritual gifts is the inevitability of having to come out cosmic, the inevitability of having to tell your friends and family that you are now into sound healing. So that idea of coming out of the spiritual closet, whatever you want to call it, she's going to be sharing how she did that, because it's terrifying. It's terrifying to do what I do. It's terrifying to step into your spiritual gifts and start to authentically express them to other people because you're afraid of what they're going to think. I'm telling you, you get to a point where you don't give a flying fuck anymore. I'm sorry for swearing, but you do get to a point where you're like, I don't even care. This is me. And I don't care what you think. Like, genuinely and sincerely, not even with the ego trying to get involved and to protect you. You genuinely just don't care what people think anymore because you're like, if I screw up in this lifetime, I'll just come back around and have another lifetime. Like, that's one of my philosophies. For the month of May, for the premium members, I actually have 2 activation classes. So we've got Becca coming in on the 16th, and then on the 17th, I have a new moon ritual where I will be live channeling the ETs to talk about the energies of this new moon in Taurus. And we have a different ritual involved. It's not like a witchcraft ritual, although that would be cool. I'm totally into that stuff. I haven't actually practiced it, but I'm open to it. But during this ritual, it's going to be very journal, reflection, compassion heavy. And I'm happy to take questions from the audience too, specifically if they have questions about where the energy is going to land with them individually and if there's anything that they should be doing at this time. So the new moon ritual on the 17th will be fun. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't know if I said when Becca's event is. It's on the 16th at 3 p.m. Eastern. And these 2 activation classes are included in the premium membership for $44 a month. And it also includes the live channeling session on the 2nd of the month. So in this month of May, premium members are paying $44 for 3 live events, when typically these live events would be $33 a piece. I will say that the Cosmic Channel, the live channeling where I answer your personal questions live through the ETs, that is not a separate guest pass that you can purchase for $33. That's only included in the premium membership. So if you're feeling like you want to have live activations every month and a chance to ask me questions, then consider the premium membership, and I'll leave a link down below. The live activation class for June, because it is promised within the premium membership that you get at least 1 live activation class and the Cosmic Channel, the live Q&A. But sometimes you get more activation classes like you do in the month of May if I feel like it. If I feel like the collective needs it. The live activation class for June is going to be all about reptilians, because I have been channeling for a lot of people during my one-on-one sessions who are a part of this reptilian renegade group. I don't know if you saw the video that I posted on Instagram or TikTok, but I posted a video about how I've been finding people within my one-on-one sessions who have been a part of some sort of light worker group of reptilians who were trying to take down the darker reptilians. And we're talking past lives. This is galactic past lives type shit. But there's a group of these reptilians who have reincarnated and have come back into this human form so that we can continue to take down the quote unquote bad reptilians. I've been finding a lot of people within my one-on-one sessions who are part of this group. And so I channeled into this, and the Lyrans were saying that there's about 200 of us who have reincarnated from this specific faction and group. And we're all starting to find each other. And so in one-on-one sessions, it's so cool because I can feel into whether or not somebody's got some sort of reptilian ties, which, spoiler alert, we all do. Actually, I shouldn't say all because this is an infinite universe. I will say the majority of us do. And so in my activation class on June 17th at 8 p.m., I will be talking about this reptilian renegades group more in depth, who they are, what they were trying to accomplish, and you can ask me questions of whether or not you are actually a part of this group as well. So that's what's going on with Coming Out Cosmic right now. I will say it has been quite a chaotic struggle trying to manage everything as a solopreneur and with 202, managing multiple social media platforms, taking one-on-one clients. I'm just being honest here. I'm not complaining. I think that I'm very blessed to be able to have tapped into this ability and to be able to run a business as an ET channeler. It's not easy. And I will say that I'm so thankful for each and every one of you for supporting me, for booking a one-on-one session with me, for becoming a member within my premium community, because this is the only way that I make income. And I think that people can look at somebody who is a content creator and think, well, oh my gosh, like, you make a lot of money doing what you do. And unfortunately, I'm at the stage in my career right now where I'm not. It does help to have one-on-one sessions, but just being honest and transparent here. TikTok now sucks. TikTok doesn't pay you shit. I will say I had a video that went over 1 million views and I got $14 for that video. So that just goes to show like, oh, my check from TikTok this month was 69 cents. My husband will like that one. And also, you don't make money unless you do like brand deals and collaborations. And I don't do brand deals or collaborations, maybe sometime in the future, but I don't know. I just don't see many people reaching out to the girl who channels aliens quite yet. I don't see any popular brands wanting to work with me quite yet, but maybe in the future. So again, I share all this just to be transparent, vulnerable, let you guys know that, of course, if you're struggling within the 3D 9 to 5 matrix, it happens as well within the spiritual entrepreneur reality as well. I'm still trying to get my feet on the ground and land it, especially after having 2 babies and trying to manage postpartum. And so it really is so helpful when you do come to my events or sign up for the premium membership or book a one-on-one session. It is so incredibly helpful. And I will say that every single time I get an email that somebody purchases a service from me, like it makes my entire day. And I start dancing around. And so it is just so amazing to have this community and to have this support. I can't wait to continue growing with you all. I can't wait to have like retreats and stuff and to be able to meet all of you guys in person, because I think that at this time, especially during this incredible awakening period, we all really need to stick together and support each other. There's an update on channeling and an update on what's going on with me. I hope that you liked this podcast episode. I'm sorry, Maya was very vocal in the beginning of this. And if you want to continue your support, it does help me if you rate this podcast 5 stars, share it, whatever you feel called to do. But without further ado, I do want to introduce that the next topic that we'll be talking about is more funny stories from my one-on-one sessions. We're going to talk about the dead people that have come through. We're going to talk about the ugly aliens that I've seen. Like, no disrespect to them, but it's just really weird to see some of these aliens that come through. We're going to talk about the epiphany, insights, and wisdom that's come through. We're going to talk about people's gifts. Like, it's going to be a really cool episode, the next one that I have with my friend Rosanna. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to film that as soon as I can. And of course, thank you so much for listening. I love each and every one of you. I can't tell you how much I really appreciate each and every one of you. And so with that, I have to go get Brody because I think he's been sitting in his crib now waiting for Mama to get him. All right, guys, we'll see you later. Bye.